I want to talk about something curious I discovered. Now, unfortunately, this is happening again. And I just realized something. I realized something today, which is this grift is succeeding because Jimmy Dore is touching on one emotion that a lot of other commentators are not touching on. And that is anger. If you're here in this stream, or you watch Hassan, the one thing that I like about our streams, and mine in particular, if I can toot my own horn for a second, is that we're angry fuckers. We are angry fuckers. So when we see an injustice, we have a human reaction of anger and frustration towards that injustice. And I think that is extremely normal. I think only weirdo, politics-brained, Machiavellian, sociopath freaks can look at injustice and just go, put that injustice in my calculation machine. No, most people are like, what the fuck? And they get pissed. And a lot of the people that are leaders in the left, especially in politics, with very few exceptions, tap into that anger. And the reasons why people like AOC and Bernie Sanders have been successful is they have that gear. They have that fifth gear where they tap into the anger and frustration of everyday people. A lot of people, including myself, have looked at what Jimmy Snore has said, especially the vitriol and the hatred he flings at people like Bernie Sanders and AOC, and we're like, whoa, what the fuck, dude? They're on our side. They're trying to get the same things done that you supposedly believe in. And what that does is that leaves the anger lane open for Jimmy, because the rest of us are going, hey, don't abuse AOC. Hey, don't attack Bernie. They're the ones that are going to lead this victory if we ever get it. What are you doing? Why are you attacking Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman? Why are you attacking Nina Turner? That's crazy talk. And that leaves Jimmy Dore the perfect wide open lane to do this anger bit and tap into that emotion and tap into that reservoir of frustration that everyday people are feeling. And we're taking ourselves out of the game because we are trying to be like, whoa, Jimmy, what the fuck are you doing? And then he just goes, look at that. They're trying to calm me down from injustice. And I just clicked and I was like, oh, okay. So when I go and say to Jimmy Dore, hey, you're a piece of shit for attacking AOC, I'm doing exactly what he wants me to do. Which is, I'm not being angry at injustice. I'm not yelling about Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, the Republicans, capitalism, or any of the things we ought to be talking about. We're trying to go and be like, whoa, Jimmy, what the fuck are you doing? Calm down, you're attacking the side. And we're giving him more fucking power. And we're feeding into exactly what he wants. So I was sitting back last night, and I was like, okay, what do we need to do instead of treating Jimmy Dore like an ally who has gone astray and is just, committing friendly fire? Let's recognize Jimmy Dore for what he is, a joke. He's a comedian. He wants us to laugh at him. And so I think the best alternative is for us to stop going, oh, stop being mean to AOC, exactly like he wants us to, and instead give him what he never got when he worked as a comedian, which is laughter. It's time to laugh at these motherfuckers for their stupidity and their incompetence and their cringeworthiness. I'm going to stop arguing about, oh, he's being mean to AOC, because that's exactly what he wants. And I'm going to start giving him what he needs, ridicule. And all of his dumbass fans need to be laughed at. So in that vein, I have a nice little piece of candy to offer to all of you, which is this dumbass People's Party. Yeah, I said it. The People's Party shit is a fucking grift. 100% a grift. Now, Mike, I see the term grift thrown out, or grifter thrown out a lot. What do you mean by that? Okay. A grifter is not somebody who makes money from making content. A grifter is not a journalist being paid to write an article. A grifter is not an organizer. A grifter is not a popularizer. A grifter is somebody who sets up something under false pretenses to enrich themselves personally. So, especially if you know that the thing that you're setting up cannot succeed, and you are tricking people into giving you money, supposedly for the purpose of advancing that goal, but in actuality to enrich yourself. That's a grifter. And I would like to say that Nick Brana is a fucking grifter. The movement for a People's Party is a grift. It's the same shit as the Rose Caucus or Joshua for Congress. It is a grift, a clout farm, and it is worthless. And no energy whatsoever should go towards it. No money, no attention, no effort, and no respect. It's a joke. And I'm going to shit on it. Why? Because it's necessary. It's time to start laughing at these motherfuckers. What is the People's Party? Now, I think it's a fucking joke. And it absolutely 100% is a joke. What is the People's Party? It's time for us to go and get into why this is crap. Now, I went into the platform of a movement for a People's Party, and I was like, okay, there is an ideological argument, in theory, that leftists should organize around what's known as a workers' party. You should participate in elections, but the way you participate in elections is through organizing a working people's party, a labor party that is unabashedly pro-worker, pro-union, and anti-capitalist. That is a core tenet of theory, forming one of those working parties. And also, it's unabashedly socialist. So, I asked myself, okay, we're not going to run as a Democrat according to them. We should form a third party. Okay, is this a labor party? Is this a working like socialist party? Is this a real alternative? Why wouldn't we just go and work to take over the Democrats, or run as a Green, or work with the pre-existing parties that have infrastructure, investment, name recognition, volunteers, organizers, dedicated people? Why wouldn't you use those existing apparatuses? Okay, you want to form a new party. Is this a labor party? Is this a socialist party? Well, I went through the platform, and unless, hey, I hate to embarrass myself, it's possible. I'm going through it again just for you guys. But I go through each one of these platform positions, and I don't see a single fucking thing about socialism. And I'm like, social services, socialist? Wait a minute. No socialist, no socialism? Like, what's going on, man? It's not even a socialist party. So I went and looked at the platform, and I read it, and you know what it reminded me of? So it talks about workplace democracy, right? The American middle class was strongest when a third of our workforce was unionized in the 40s and 50s. Wages have stagnated, inequality has risen. Then we support the rights of employees to organize unions, collectively bargain and strike, repeal all anti-labor laws, including right-to-work laws and the rest of the Taft-Hartley Act. This is great. Democratize the workplace by encouraging the creation of worker cooperatives. And yet, at no point do they ever use the phrase socialist? And I was like, okay. So Bernie Sanders and AOC openly run as socialists. AOC, in fact, goes and it participates in DSA trainings as a socialist. Here's something she just did with the Democratic Socialists in May. Beyond Bernie, DSA electeds on building power with Rep. Ocasio-Cortez. On our first DSA in office mass call, we'll hear from DSA's elected officials to discuss organizing for a just response to the pandemic and a path forward for the left after Bernie's historic campaign. The call will feature DSA members at all levels of office, including AOC, Councilwoman Candy Sibaka in Denver, Councilwoman Khalid Kamu in Georgia, State Representative Brian Cena in Burlington, Vermont. Join us to hear how Democratic Socialists can meet these challenges and fight to put people over profit from the grassroots to the halls of Congress. Now, here we go. AOC organizing, because I've heard the lie that AOC doesn't even call herself a socialist anymore. And it's like, actually, you're a fucking liar. Not only does she participates in DSA events, you lying scum. They are targeting and discrediting DSA in tandem with all this too, undercutting competing orgs to elevate themselves. Remind me of how abusers isolate people from their support groups and shit. And, okay. And I was like, all right, this is so weird. It's a non-socialist party, basically a watered-down Green Party. Why does it exist? I can't speak Spanish at all. This is something I need to work on. Why does this exist? And the more and more I looked at it, the more I was like, I am not a conspiracy theorist. I am not a conspiracy theorist. However, this stinks. This stinks like some CIA shit. And I went and I was like, okay, Nick Brana, he's a fucking joke. Who is this guy? Who is the guy starting the movement for a People's Party? This guy's putting himself out as a political figure. Who the fuck is this guy? Who is the People's Party? Who is Nick Brana? Was he a congressman? Was he a state representative? Was he some sort of high-level Bernie guy? Like, what's happening? And I went and looked, and okay, he's been working as the national coordinator full-time for 4 years on the People's Party? 4 years?
PSAL.
How many people have you run? How many candidates? 4 years? Okay, he was electoral manager of Our Revolution for less than a year. Oh my God, I remember this. A bunch of staffers were left Our Revolution, which is the organization Bernie Sanders started to keep his campaign going, over some bullshit reasons. Oh, I remember. They didn't want Bernie Sanders' closest advisors to run the organization. They wanted to run the organization. They thought they could do it better than Bernie Sanders' closest advisors. So they left. They quit. He was one of the dumb shits who left Our Revolution to start. And this is what he started in the last 4 years. Oh, no wonder he didn't work in the 2020 Bernie campaign, because he was a grifter piece of shit. I remember that. And so I started laughing because I was like, oh, I remember these fucking idiots. These are the people that had minor roles in the Bernie campaign and then tried to take over Our Revolution and got kicked out. And then I was like, boom, okay, he was National Political Outreach Coordinator for Bernie for 1 year. Okay. Then he was a progressive commentator on the Square Circle political debate show, Public TV. AKA, He went on public access for 2 years? Okay, then he was Deputy Voter Protection Director for Terry McAuliffe. Oh my God. He got his comeuppance in politics working for one of the most centrist politicians in America. One of the closest allies to Hillary. And I was like, you know what? We all come up as young people. That's fine. That doesn't mean anything. That's fine. Oh, he was a legislative intern for John Kerry? Okay. Finance intern for John Kerry for U.S. Senate and campaign for our country PAC. And then it hit. Policy intern for the Organization of American States. And I was like, oh, that's why his organization is spending all its time attacking AOC and DSA. He's a fucking CIA agent. Now, obviously, that's way grandiose. He's not a CIA agent. He's not important enough to be a CIA agent. But I look at his employment history, and hey, listen, we all struggle from time to time to find a job. I'm not trying to pretend like I'm better than him. I'm not. In politics, it's tough to get a gig that lasts. But it's gapped. Okay? His employment history is gapped. So financially, he was probably not in the best position. And he got some popularity working for Bernie in 2016, and he got a grandiose opinion of himself, and he started the People's Party. And it's not a socialist organization. It's got a watered-down Green Party platform, and it's spending all its time attacking our socialist representatives in DSA. That's an op. That's an op. You are a fucking wrecker. You are an op. Until proven otherwise, you have to explain to me why you aren't an op and why you should ever be listened to. And it's like, Mike, why are you saying it's an op? Don't you hate that? Yes, I fucking absolutely do hate it. But I hate it because he's really into that movement for a People's Party and their 115 followers. Why is an organization with 115 followers trending on my shit? So we have the leader of the organization is a grifter who was kicked out of Our Revolution because he didn't want Bernie Sanders' senior advisors to help run it. Went and started his own movement for a People's Party, and for 4 years ran 0 candidates. And they spend their time attacking DSA and AOC and Bernie Sanders and Nina Turner. And the founder was a guy who worked for John Kerry and the Organization of American States. I'm going to go ahead and pass on that.